So good morning. I'm getting my workout in already. I'm down here at the community garden where I lease space. I lease 4 beds, and then I manage a couple of extra beds for the community caring center itself. Well, I have some, I think they're Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts that are helping me with these 2 extra beds. But that food is strictly, whatever grows in there is strictly for the community caring center and not going home with me. We did that on purpose because the whole spirit of the community garden to begin with was to help grow food, fresh food for folks who can't afford to buy food. And I like that idea. So I don't mind helping out. Unfortunately, I didn't have my plants hardened off as much as I thought I did. So I'm going to turn the camera around now and show you those plants. These are the bed where I planted the tomatoes. These are my cherry tomatoes. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it. They may yet pull through. At least 1 or 2 of them might. They are growing some more leaves, so I'm hopeful. I have heavily mulched this bed to try to help them out. But all of these plants got some sun scald, and I was pretty sure I hardened them off. The ones in my personal bed, these are those banana peppers, and I'm not sure that they're gonna make it. But and these are bell peppers here. I have some celery planted in the corners. Not sure how they're gonna do, but today I was down here putting all these mulch in these beds. So these were started plants that I started way too many, and so as you can see the damage a little easier over here. These are all beefsteak tomatoes, and they're just struggling so much. I hope they pull through. Hopeful. And over here I've planted potatoes where you see the sticks. I've planted potatoes. I don't know what that is over there. I'm pretty sure it's not a weed, so I'm gonna let it grow, see what comes up. I haven't mulched this side, but I did put some compost over the top just to help those potatoes along a little bit. And over here in this bed I have planted, I didn't cover these up at all. The seeds are still exposed, but this is my squash bed here. All of this is my squash bed. I have planted a ton of squash, and I left my tools here, so it's a good thing I came out today. But as you can see, I didn't cover some of them up with dirt. Shame on me. But this is the bed that I planted with squash. And as soon as those squash plants come up, I will weed this a little better. Squash isn't as fussy, and they get so big that sometimes they self-weed. So I'm going to see when those squash plants come up. Then I'll put another layer of mulch on there and weed this one a little better. Same thing over here. This one is already mulched with some old mulch. What I planted in here is the watermelon and a cantaloupe seeds, because I just didn't have room at my house for those. So I planted them up here. We'll see what happens. Again, when they come up, I will remulch this bed and weed a little better. But right now, it'll be okay with that little bit of grass and stuff in there. And the Boy Scouts planted most of these in this bed, and this one is the one I'm gonna help manage. This one was my cherry tomato that I planted there. Again, I'm not sure how well that's gonna do, if it'll come back or not, because it's got sun scald pretty bad. Some of these other plants have a little sun damage as well, so I hope that's sun damage and not something in the soil that's causing that, because I have heard rumors of Oh, that's a serrano pepper there. I don't know what this is. This is a bell pepper. All right, so over here I got this celery is doing really well in this corner. It doesn't have that. It has a little bit of sun damage, but not nearly as bad as this little pepper does. Oh my goodness, this little pepper is just suffering. I feel bad. I really did harden them off. Like I said, the ones at my house do not have sun scald like that, but I have shade. This area does not have shade. Anyway, so this part of the bed is planted with the leftover bell peppers and beefsteak tomatoes. And over here I've planted some squash. There is one little celery in the corner. The one I planted down here didn't make it, as you can see. But this one is also, this celery is doing okay down here. So we'll see what happens with the celery. That was an experiment. So this is so peaceful down here, and I love coming down here. It's just a peaceful, beautiful place to be, especially this time of the morning. But anyway, that's it for the community garden. Right now it's a bit of chaos out here, and so but I did find some really cheap plants at the Ace Hardware by my house. And so some of these babies, I grew this one from seed. I can't even remember what it is, but it lived. But this one, not so much. I gotta get out. This one was a store-bought rose moss. I got some marigolds coming up in there, I think. That's awesome. Let's see what I got. Oh, look here. These guys made it. Sweet. And so, nothing in there yet. I think these are African daisies, and they're kind of hanging in there. I planted some peppermint in that one, and I planted marigolds in there because the flower that I had, the start that I had, died. It didn't live through the transplant shock. That's a Jolly Jester marigold. Those two are. And the one in the center is African daisy, but unfortunately it's dying. So over here I have some more plant starts. They're hanging in there. Pretty happy about that. I got a new planter. Somebody gave me this, and it just needs to be fixed on the bottom. So I'm really pleased about that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I will make a place. My brother's been out here mowing. So I got calendula and morning glories and And here's some more. I think that's a zinnia there. The one zinnia that lived. That's another daisy. Up here in these, I have marigolds. They're dwarf marigolds. In here, in these. This one was not a marigold, but it's not doing so great. Not sure what that is. Marigold's coming up in there. Happy. Some more marigolds coming up in there. And like I said, there's a dwarf variety of those. I'm about to turn the water on here. I have potatoes planted. The garden is now all the way in. I think that is a moonflower. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's beautiful and amazing. And what was here was cauliflower. And I also had some other transplants that I planted in there that didn't make it. So, a little disappointed about that. This is the celery. The celery is making a comeback. It almost didn't survive the transplant shock. Back there I have some basil. I have a basil coming up, and so that's along the fence line. I planted some loofah gourds. There's some chimichama there. Chimsai planted there. Yellow squash here. Summer squash here. Along the back, I planted nasturtiums. These are white scallops. This right here is an Augustache. It's doing pretty good. Something's been eating on it, but it's been doing pretty good. And then here we have this is all this along this side of the fence is zucchini. I have zucchini planted. Nothing's come up yet, of course. We have yellow squash planted there, and I also planted this right here is a weed. I don't know what that is. I need to cut it down, but that is a weed. But I also planted some I can't remember where I put them, but I planted some birdhouse gourds along here, and I hope I'm seeing some of those poisonous vines over there. I'm gonna have to go pull them up out of the ground because I don't want them growing. In here in this bed I have spaghetti squash and something else. What did I put over here? Some pumpkin. So in this bed, and I'm gonna have to train them, and I'm gonna have to trim them because I sure do not want pumpkins all over the place. And here are some random things. I don't remember what this was, but I was trying to save it, and it obviously didn't save. But these were some random plants that I planted and didn't mark, so I have no idea what they are. I think they're snapdragons, but I am not real sure. I don't know what it is. Over here in this bed, I have some corn planted. I have some okra planted. And I have some jalapenos over here. And the rest of my beefsteak tomatoes, because I didn't know. You'll see further on in this video that The ones I planted down at the community care center got sun scald really bad. These have it a little bit, but not near as bad as the ones in the white buckets. In case I didn't mention it, those are all potatoes. Over here, these are peas. Over here, I planted I believe I planted cucumbers over here. I planted bush beans. No, I planted garden beans over here this year. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember if it's cucumbers or garden beans. I put the garden beans here. I know for sure. Bush beans here. These are pepper. Oh my gosh. One of my pepper plants just croaked. That's terrible. I don't know what happened to it, but it fell over and croaked. So that's why you plant more than you need. But that is kind of sad to see that pepper is kind of yucky. Weird, I got this one I'm sad to see that these tomatoes these cherry tomatoes are just struggling so bad. But these are also a combination of bell peppers and banana peppers, and hopefully they'll make a rebound. I'm not sure. Over here, I've got some carrots planted in the ground. We'll see. I did save space for some ground cherries, but I've decided not to plant those this year. In the buckets, in the red ones, I have lavender that's doing okay. In the green bags is some more potatoes. Over here, I am excited to see I have some wasabi radishes and some regular radishes popping up. So those are great. My onions are just struggling. I'm gonna let them go. And over here I have just a few beets that are doing good, and then I have also some turnips, and I have one turnip that's just about ready to pull out of the ground. It looks pretty good down there. So pretty soon I'm gonna pull that turnip up and eat it before something else does. So over here, oh look, my arugula is taking off like a light bulb. This is arugula. This is kale. And they're both doing, and there's some more kale down here. I have planted lettuce in this. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if any of it will come up. Lettuce is a cold weather crop, and it can't make up its mind whether it wants to be cold or hot. In here, I planted some chamomile, but it just didn't make it, unfortunately, so I'm going to reseed those both and see if I can get some more chamomile growing. These are my beefsteak babies. They are doing okay. I'm not sure what's causing them to be so stunted, other than I have a bunch of flowers and stuff. Looky there. That right there looks like a morning glory coming up. But I planted calendula and marigold and all kinds of flowers around these tomatoes to try to help them And I have some thyme in there, and it hasn't come up yet. May have to reseed that. But in here I've got more lavender. I have seeded it with basil on one side, oregano on the other, and the rosemary bush is hanging in there. I didn't think it would live, but it did. And over here, this sage has gotten well established, and I'm so happy about that. No worries with the sage. My zinnias over here are struggling though. I did plant some begonias I got from the store. Those didn't come from seeds. But the little babies that I planted in there didn't make it. I have strawberries planted in here. When I was watering, this did not get enough water. I may have to turn the water hose on and water that down a little bit. But anyway, the 2023 garden is in the ground. Now, trying to keep it growing and healthy and doing well. And some of these babies just don't look like they're doing that well. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, so here is this front bed. My son cleaned it out. I do have, that's a zinnia. There's some zinnias. And those lavenders are holding on. Over here, something dug in it. I'm not sure what, but I had a lavender there. That right there is lavender, and that right there is lavender, but I don't think it's gonna make it. And so is that, and that's the cactus that my nephew planted a long time ago. It's looking good. Something has been digging in here, and I don't know what, but it dug up. I had a lavender, another lavender in here because it's my favorite flower, and the damn deer must have done this. I don't know. Whatever, something's rooting around in there. And I have another lavender in there. But I've planted a bunch of seeds in these beds. We'll see if they come up. These are the cannas that my dad planted here. They are doing great and thriving. Our holly bushes, I don't know what that other bush is, but they've kind of merged and they're kind of spreading. But over here, I had some more lavender, but they're not looking so good. I think they need some more water. Over here, I don't know. Anyway, this is the front garden. Okay, so editing Lisa here, and I wanted to address something that I was talking about in the very first part down at the community garden. So first of all, it wasn't a rumor. One of my favorite YouTubers is Jessica Selwards over at Roots and Refuge Farms. She has a bunch of videos, so go check out her channel. But she did experience contaminated soil. So that was not a rumor, that was a fact. And several of her videos address what they did to try to remediate the contaminated soil that they got. Now the rumor part of that is that there were several other YouTubers out there that experienced contaminated soil, but I couldn't tell you who those people are. I just know for certain that Jessica Selwards over at Roots and Refuge did get contaminated soil. So that is a possibility. You have to be very careful where you get your compost from. And so I buy most of my stuff from the big box stores. It's not to say that you can't get contaminated soil from them, because you really can, but if you're going to buy it in bulk from a company, you just definitely need to be very careful who you buy your compost from. So anyway, that's this April's garden tour is starting in May. I'll probably try to do one every Saturday because the garden is growing very good now, and I'm excited to be able to share that with you. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.